You know, buying a home is supposed to be one of the most exciting times of your life. But what happens when that dream deal hits a snag and suddenly turns into a total nightmare? Well, today, we're going to talk about a really powerful tool that can save you a ton of time, money, and stress. It's called real estate mediation.
So, picture this. You did it. You found the house. The inspections are done, your financing is all lined up, and then, boom, a problem pops up out of nowhere. Maybe the seller conveniently forgot to mention a huge issue, or now they're trying to back out of repairs they promised to make. All of a sudden, that dream home feels like it's just slipping through your fingers.
So what do? Your first thought might be, I'll sue them. But then you start thinking about it. Months, maybe even years, stuck in court, with lawyers' fees just piling up. It's totally daunting. But is that really your only choice? The short answer? Absolutely not.
All right, so let's dive into the kinds of problems that can completely derail a real estate deal. And honestly, this stuff happens way more often than you'd think. I mean, we're talking about all sorts of issues. It could be the seller just straight up breaching the contract, or maybe you get into a fight over who gets to keep the earnest money deposit if the deal collapses. And then there's the big one of the most stressful. You find a massive defect, like a leaky roof they never told you about. These are the exact kinds of things that can bring a sale to a dead stop.
Okay, but here's the good news. There is a smarter way to handle these things, one that doesn't involve declaring all-out war. It's called mediation.
So what is real estate mediation? Think of it as a structured, but still pretty informal meeting. It brings you and the seller into the same room with a neutral third person, the mediator. And their only job is to help you both find a solution that you can both live with. See, it's about collaboration, not combat.
And this right here is the absolute key to the whole thing. The mediator is not a judge, they don't pick sides, and they definitely don't make the decision for you. They're more like a guide for the conversation, just there to keep things productive and help both of you see a way forward that you might have missed when you were angry.
Now, it's super important not to get this mixed up with something else called arbitration. A mediator, like we said, just guides you. You make the final call. An arbitrator, on the other hand, acts like a private judge. They listen to both sides and then they make a final binding decision. Big difference, and we'll come back to it.
Okay, so we know what mediation is, but how does it actually work? What does the process look like? It's probably a lot more straightforward than you're imagining.
It really just boils down to these 5 main steps. Step 1 is the easiest. Both of you just have to agree to give it a shot. From there, you work together to pick a mediator you both trust. Then, you each prepare your side of the story. You have the session itself, where everyone gets to talk in a safe space. And finally, if you figure something out, you sign an agreement that makes it official and legally binding.
Now, if you're heading into one of these sessions, being prepared is everything. You'll want to gather up every single piece of paper you can find, the contract, those inspection reports, all the emails back and forth. But what's just as important is your mindset. You got to know what you want, but you also have to know where you're willing to bend. And remember, the goal here is not to win. It's to find a fair solution so everybody can just move on with their lives.
So why even bother with all this? Let's talk about the massive advantages mediation has over dragging your dispute through the court system.
Honestly, when you put them side by side, the better path becomes incredibly clear for most people. I mean, just look at this chart. The difference is night and day. Cost, mediation is way, way cheaper. You're just splitting the mediator's fee instead of paying for 2 teams of lawyers and endless court filings. Time, we're talking about getting a resolution in days or weeks, not months or years. And this is critical. The process is private and informal, and you control the outcome. Litigation is public, super formal, and a judge tells you what's going to happen, whether you like it or not.
And get this, it actually works. Now, this isn't in our specific source for today, but it's worth knowing that a lot of studies out there show that mediation can have a success rate as high as 90%. It is a really effective process.
And this quote from our source really gets to the emotional core of it. Court battles are designed to be hostile. They create bad blood. Mediation, on the other hand, is built on cooperation. It's so much less stressful, and it gives you that peace of mind because you are back in the driver's seat. All right, remember how we talked about the difference between mediation and arbitration a minute ago? Let's circle back and take a closer look, because choosing the right one for your situation is a huge deal.
It all boils down to one simple, powerful question. Who do you want to hold the power? With a mediator, as you can see, the power to make the final decision always stays with you. With an arbitrator, you are literally handing over your power to them. They get the final say.
So, how do you know if mediation is the right move for you? Well, here's a little checklist. If you want a fast, affordable solution where you stay in control,
mediation is probably the answer. It's especially good if the whole fight is just based on a simple misunderstanding that could be cleared up by talking. And hey, check your paperwork. A lot of purchase agreements actually require you to try mediation first anyway.
So as we wrap this up, let me just leave you with this thought. When you're in the middle of a stressful real estate fight, it's so easy to get caught up in who's right and who's wrong, who wins and who loses. But mediation kind of flips that on its head. It asks us to think, what if the best solution isn't about winning at all? What if it's just about finding a fair way for everyone to finally move forward?